The series begins with Squid Game, named after the squid because it was played inside a drawing on the ground shaped like a squid. The players are divided into two teams against each other, attack and defense. The defender can run normally on both legs, but if the attacker manages to enter inside the drawing, then the attacker can also run on both legs and is called the secret inspector. In the final stage, the attackers gather at the entrance of the squid and try to evade the defenders. They reach the squid's head and stand on it. If the defender manages to push the attacker outside the squid's drawing, the attacker dies and cannot try again. Once the attacker stands on the squid's head and they say he has won, he defeats the defenders. That's the Squid Game. Then we go to Seong Gi-hun, a failed, unemployed man living with his mother in her apartment because she supports him. He can't pay back his loan, which he wasted, and he begs his mother to leave the house so he can take her Visa card and withdraw money for himself. But he explodes in anger and can't take the money. He keeps trying birth dates he remembers until he enters his daughter's birthday and succeeds in withdrawing what he wants. He goes to bet it on a horse race, and for the first time in his life, wins something that brings him money. He gives a tip to the receptionist, but due to his bad luck, the money is stolen by a pickpocket who bumps into him while he's running from debt collectors. They catch him, beat him, and make him sign an organ donation waiver. If he doesn't pay his debts by the end of the month, they are legally allowed to take his kidney and one of his eyes with the consent he signed himself. He goes back to the receptionist and takes back the tip he gave her. He plays a prize-catching game because he doesn't have money to buy his daughter a birthday gift. All his attempts fail due to his bad luck until a little child helps him, and he wins a locked prize. He gives it to his daughter for her birthday, but the gift turns out to be a lighter shaped like a gun. His daughter is still happy that her father got her a gift, though he takes it back so she doesn't burn herself. He promises her a bigger gift next year. His daughter seems to want to tell him something but holds back. She goes to her mother's house with her stepfather and Gi-hun leaves. He misses the train and waits for the next one. A man approaches him and offers to play a game called dakji, a game where two cardboard pieces are used. One is thrown on the ground and the other is in the player's hand. If the player flips the piece on the ground with the one in his hand, he wins. If not, he loses. The man offers Gi-hun £100,000 their currency, if he wins. Gi-hun tries his luck first, and, as usual, fails. The man takes his turn and succeeds in flipping the piece. Gi-hun has no money to pay, so the man says he can pay with his body and hits Gi-hun with a pen. Gi-hun plays another round and loses again. He keeps failing and getting hit until his face turns red. Finally, in one attempt, Gi-hun wins and is extremely happy. He takes the £100,000 won, and the man tells him he can make much more money by playing other games. He starts revealing that he knows Gi-hun's entire history, that he's unemployed, works as a driver, can't cover his expenses, and even signed an organ waiver because he's 160 million won in debt to loan sharks, and 225 million won to the bank from a loan he took. He also has a 10-year-old daughter living with his ex-wife and her new husband. The man gives Gi-hun a business card and tells him that if he wants to win millions, he should call him. Gi-hun is happy that he has money and buys dinner for himself and his mother. His mother tells him that his ex-wife, her husband, and his daughter are moving to America next year. They take a photo together, and Gi-hun remembers that his daughter wanted to tell him this, but stayed silent. His mother tries to encourage him by saying he must win custody of his daughter and prove in court that he can support her. That night, he can't sleep from overthinking until he decides to call the man's number and says he's ready to participate. He waits in a certain place until a van stops in front of him. The driver asks for the password given to him over the phone. And once he says it and enters the van, sleeping gas spreads, knocking him out like the others. except the driver, who wears a gas mask. Gi-hun wakes up in a large, wide space with many people. He finds himself wearing a uniform like the others, assigned number 456. Each person has a camera monitoring them, and everyone is watched by certain individuals. A screen appears in front of him, showing the number of people in the place, and Gi-hun is the last one to arrive. He meets an old, weak man, number 001, and asks why someone like him is in such a place. The old man says he has a brain tumor and will die soon, so he has nothing to lose by participating. Gi-hun hears a bully beating up the girl who stole from him, the pickpocket Kang Se-byuk, number 067, due to past issues. He intervenes because he wants his money back, recognizing her as the thief. Before they finish talking, people enter through the gate wearing masks with circle, triangle, and square symbols. A square-masked man speaks to all the participants, telling them they will compete in 6 different games over 6 days. The winner of all 6 games will receive a huge cash prize. Their phones and wallets will be returned after the game ends, and the identities of the game staff will remain hidden for secrecy. One player says he doesn't believe them, but the masked man explains that all of them are in deep debt, were recorded playing dakji, took money, and then called the number to join the game. They can either return to their miserable lives or continue. The games are unknown until they start playing. Gi-hun asks about the prize money, and they're told that the piggy bank above them will fill with money after the first game, and the amount will be revealed afterward. They have the choice to withdraw or sign the game contract. The first rule is that players cannot stop playing once they start. The second rule is that players who refuse to play will be eliminated. The third rule is that the game ends if the majority votes to stop it. After everyone signs the contract, they're taken to the player hall and filmed. The front man, game leader, watches everything. Gi-hun meets his childhood friend, Sang-woo, number 218, who avoids talking, saying he'll explain later. They enter the game arena and see a large robotic doll at the end, with a red line drawn on the ground. The doll turns its head and cries. The objective is to reach the finish line, but they must freeze when the doll turns and looks at them. They can only move when the doll turns away and says, "Red light, green light." The game begins, and everyone runs. When the doll turns and sees the first player moving, he is eliminated. A gunshot is heard, and the losing player falls dead. One player checks the body and finds blood pouring from his back, realizing the doll has a motion sensor and kills anyone who moves. Chaos erupts as most players panic and run, getting killed. The frontman watches, enjoying their deaths until the game ends. The first to move after the massacre is the old man, and the remaining players start running and stopping in turns. Gi-hun trips over someone, but is saved by Ali, number 199, who stops him from falling and dying. They cross the line together as time runs out. All who fail to reach the red line are killed, and their bodies are revealed to be on an island in the middle of the sea, where they are burned. The remaining players are traumatized until the staff enters. The masked man announces that only 201 players remain. 2005 died in the first game. The players protest and demand to leave, but the masked man reminds them of Rule 2, elimination for refusal. However, Sang-woo points out Rule 3, majority vote can end the game, and the masked man agrees but shows them the prize money filling the piggy bank. 25.5 billion won, 100 million per dead player. The final prize will be 45.6 billion won. They vote via buttons, green for continue, red for withdraw. Gi-hun votes red, and the votes tie until the old man, number 001, votes to end the game, and it stops. The masked man says they can return home, but have a chance to rejoin. They are sedated and wake up tied up in the streets. Gi-hun reports the incident to the police, but no one believes him. He gives them the business card and phone number, but the police call and get yelled at for calling too early. Detective Hwang Jun-ho sees the card and follows Gi-hun, who returns to his mother. He later gets a call from the hospital. His mother has diabetes, and her legs may need amputation. She refuses treatment, saying they have no money. Meanwhile, Jun-ho investigates his missing brother and finds the same card in his apartment. He learns all players are destroyed by debt, including Ali, who fights his ex-boss over unpaid wages. Sang-woo lies to his mother about being in America for work, but police reveal he's a fraudster. He nearly suicides, but finds a Squid Game invitation under his door. Gi-hun tries borrowing money from his ex-wife, but is rejected. Her husband gives him cash to never return, but Gi-hun attacks him, and his daughter sees. Jun-ho waits at Gi-hun's house, asking about the card, but Gi-hun refuses to talk. He later finds a new invitation and joins the game with 187 players. Prize 26.9 billion won. Inside, Jun-ho infiltrates the staff by killing a guard and stealing his uniform. Kang Se-byuk, number 067, hides a knife and explores, discovering sugar melting in the kitchen. The second game is Honeycomb. Players must carve shapes, circle, triangle, umbrella, star, from honeycomb without breaking them. Gi-hun gets the hardest shape, umbrella. A player steals a gun and removes a guard's mask, revealing a young boy, but the frontman executes him. Only 80 players remain. Prize 34.8 billion won. The bully, Deok-soo, number 101, and his gang hoard food, leading to a mass fight. Player 2001 dies, and Gi-hun urges them to stop killing each other. Jun-ho, disguised as a high-ranking officer, discovers organ harvesting by Dr. Byung-gi, number 11, and corrupt staff. The third game is tug-of-war on a high platform. The old man, number 001, teaches strategy, and Gi-hun's team wins by tricking the opponents. Continued in Part 2. Peace.